With sentient magic items, do you ever fear evil books?
Well, that's a good point, Ted. Let's discuss more evil than the Book of Vile Darkness.
I'm Nerdarchy Ted.
And I'm Nerdarchy Steve. Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds.
Now let us begin and ponder the very nature of evil in this video.
So, with the release of Tasha's Cauldron and everything, we got a bunch of new magic items, including 6 new artifacts, Ted.
Man, I love artifacts. They have, a lot of fun. But while looking through these, we actually, researched some magic spell books. And one of those spell books is an artifact.
Yeah, well, it's not exactly a spell book, but it is kind of a book that revolves around evil magic for sure. This book might be as evil or more evil than the Vile Book of Darkness, and that's the Demonomicon of Igwilv. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure.
So would this, be a synopsis for, are you a good witch or a bad witch kind of scenario?
No. If you're carrying this book, you're definitely a bad witch.
All right. Well, excuse the cheesy segue. This is kind of sponsored by today's sponsor is Hexbound.com by Hitpoint Press, the team behind Humblewood, and Antonio D'Amico, the creator behind Dragon Stew. Hexbound is a witchy supplement for 5th edition that is currently live on Kickstarter. Enhance your characters with new subclasses that allow you to make incredibly diverse witches. You can sling spells, brew potions, and even punch spirits into the bodies of your enemies. There's also new spells, witch familiars, backgrounds, a mobile app, and more. Add the magic of witchcraft and witches into your games with Hexbound. Check it out on Kickstarter. Go to hexbound.com or check out that link in the description below.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Demonomicon of Igwilv. What do you think that book's about?
I don't know. It's a Demonomicon, which to me kind of means demons.
Yeah, it's a good guess, man. And accurate as well. Yeah, we've been asked time and time again, can you make a good demon summoning character build? It's really tough because of the way conjuration magic is generally concentration. So, it's always like, use this one spell. Maybe use this binding spell with it and circle of magic and this procedure. And then that, it's very straightforward. But I've changed my mind. I now know the best way to become a demon summoner in 5e D&D, and it's just get your hands on this book. What do you guys think? Would you allow this book in your game as the GM? As a player, would you want to get your hands on this book and use it? After we discuss it a little bit, you might change your mind. But before we get into that, let us know in the comments below.
If you want to help Nerdarchy appease the almighty YouTube algorithm, do those things that make the YouTube gods happy. Like, share, subscribe, even attune to that notification bell.
Yes, and if that notification bell fails to summon Nerdarchy into your feed, just remember, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we throw up new videos. Just come on over by the channel and check out what we've got.
So let's dive into this book. It's a wondrous item. It's an artifact that requires attunement. An expansive treatise documenting the Abyss's infinite layers and inhabitants. The Demonomicon of Igwilv is the most thorough and blasphemous tome of demonology in the multiverse. The tome recounts both the oldest and most current profanities of the Abyss and demons. Demons have attempted to censor the text. Yes, demons are trying to censor this. That's how evil it is. And while sections have been ripped from the book's spine, the general chapters remain, even revealing demonic secrets. And the book holds more than blasphemies. Caged behind the lines of script roils a secret piece of the Abyss itself, which keeps the book up to date no matter how many pages are removed. And it longs to be more than mere reference material. So as an artifact, it winds up, you can roll randomly or choose. It comes with 2 minor beneficial properties, 1 minor detrimental and 1 major detrimental property.
And not only that, we mentioned that it is kind of like a spellbook in the sense that it's a book that has 8 charges that regains charges at the dawn of each day. Which, I mean, I feel like it should be the dusk, right, for this kind of book. But whatever, you could change that if you want in your game. Why not? While holding it, you can use an action to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter from it. So that's a freebie. Or expend 1 or more charges to cast the following spells. They're all DC 20, so these are not chump DCs. Magic Circle for 1, Magic Jar for 3, Planar Ally for 3, Planar Binding for 2, Plane Shift to the Layers of the Abyss only 3 charges. Summon Fiend for 3 charges. So right there, you're going to get a lot of summoning, conjuring, and demon power right there. And if you've ever wanted to take that luxurious vacation and get some time away to the abyss for the low cost of 3 charges, you can. And you know what? You know, it actually doesn't say that you can plane shift back. I'm just gonna point that out.
Yeah, that's if you're using only the book, that's a one-way trip. Abyssal reference. You can reference the Demonomicon whenever you make an intelligence check to discern information about demons or a wisdom survival check related to the abyss. When you do so, you add double your proficiency bonus to the check. That in and of itself is pretty cool. Does not say that, you know, you if you are proficient, doesn't say that if you're, it gives you expertise. It just says you straight up, if you look at the book to get this information, you got this. It's awesome. I love it.
So yeah, it's a guide to the abyss and that which comes from there. So it's handy in that regards as well. Fiendish Scourging. Basically, your magic does maximum damage when you use it against fiends. So that's pretty strong. And it also just says fiends, right? Doesn't say just creatures of the best. So that kind of opens up the gambit. You got this in your hand. Devils, demons, and the other ones, I forget what they're called. The
neutral ones.
The neutral evil ones. The Guillottes and their kin. So you're going to do extra damage to those plus other creatures, which is pretty badass. And also, I would think if a fiend sees you carrying this book, like, they're going to want to murder you.
I'd be like, I'm out. Peace. Ensnarement. While carrying the book, whenever you cast the magic circle spell naming only fiends or the planar binding spell targeting a fiend, the spell is cast at 9th level, regardless of what level spell slot is being used, if any. Additionally, the fiend has disadvantage on its saving throw against the spell. So that in and of itself is pretty darn cool. Like, yeah, I'm just going to cast a basic magic circle, but boom! The book flares with magic. Just because you're holding it, the spell becomes a 9th level spell slot. Super awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful, and you're going to negate the magic resistance that most fiends have. And they're just gonna have to roll regularly, so that's gonna be super helpful. You're gonna want anything you could get on your side whenever possible when it comes to trying to use powers upon things of the underworld. Next up, we have the containment.
Before we jump into containment, I will throw out, as the fact that this is an artifact, and you're the GM, you're gonna make your call. Usually when things overwrite, sometimes they say that, regardless. So the tagline of additionally, the fiend has disadvantage on its saving throw. Some might say that goes beyond the magic resistance and says that they're going to roll with disadvantage. That's a ruling that I'll allow, you to make it your own table. But for me, I would read that as they've got disadvantage, even if they had magic resistance.
So going into containment, like, This is where things get really crazy, right? The first 10 pages of the Demonomicon are blank. As an action while holding the book, you can target a fiend that you can see that is trapped within a magic circle. The fiend must succeed a DC 20 Charisma saving throw with disadvantage or become trapped within the Demonomicon. Empty blank pages while it fills with writing detailing the trapped creature's widely known name and depravities. Once used, this action can't be used again until the next dawn. When you finish a long rest, if you and the Demonomicon are on the same plane of existence, the trapped creature of the highest challenge rating within the book can attempt to possess you. You must make a DC 20 Charisma saving throw. On a failure, you are possessed by the creature, which controls you like a puppet. The possessing creature can release you as an action, appearing to be the closest unoccupied space. On a successful save, the fiend can't try to possess you again for 7 days. When the tome is discovered, it has die 4 fiends occupying its pages, typically an assortment of demons. So, like, you get this book, and right off the bat, they are trying to possess you.
So with this, it's really weird. You could, whether you're being the puppet or the puppet master, you could have this book that's totally doing this whole crazy thing, because you never know who's in the guiding seat, who's in control. This kind of aspect is makes this very much a wild card, or a lot of planning on the GM if you're going to put this in your game.
This is a great plot device item to sneak into your game. You could even give it to like a less powerful challenge, but that being said, it has access to the powers of the book. It's actually being controlled by one of the demons in the book, and like if the demon is possessing a particular creature, I would allow that creature or the demon through that creature to use those abilities that the demon has access to that, aren't based on its physicality. So if it has the ability to summon other creatures, it has the ability to cast spells, I would let it do all that. So really you could take something like an orc shaman or kobold or something like that and really beef them up. And then like they get the book and it has these powers, and maybe they don't know what they find at first. And like next thing you know, the book is trying to possess them. Like this is obviously, anytime you introduce an artifact into a game, it is meant to be a plot device. It really is not meant for your players to use this and wield this like a magic item. They might wield something like it briefly, but this one has actually got a lot of detriments in the sense that you're probably at some point going to get possessed by a demon. And if you got a player that's on board, like for them to play the role of the demon, throughout a good portion of the campaign, maybe you let them use their powers plus some of the demon powers. And like, you could go through the whole campaign and at the very end, reveal them as the villain and let them, it's them versus the party. Like that would be a lot of fun. I know certain players that would be into that. You have to be careful. You want to pick a player that would be into that. And also like, I feel like when you do this, it's a high stakes game. So you have to know your group well enough to know whether or not they're going to be like, oh, that was so cool, I can't believe you did that. Or if they're going to get angry at you. So knowing your group's always important.
Yeah, I definitely know that there are some players who would be on board, and some players that would definitely feel like this would be an element of trust. That breaks things. I've seen players when they get possessed and they're like, all right, who's the weakest? Who can I bring down? And I've seen things happen at my own table where like the player gets turned on the party and just one by one the characters fall like dominoes. And other times where somebody does something and they make a half-hearted attempt. I do this. Oh, crud, that gives me disadvantage. That means my attack missed.
So one is you want to slow burn it, right? You don't want to be like, oh, got the book, attack the party. No, you want to slow burn it. You want to make the quest all driven by that player, right? That has the book and is possessed by the demon. And because it's really ultimately you're trying to enact the demon's goals and the demon's goal. Really you might actually be set on the path of destroying the book, right? Because fiends don't like these books. So which also, in order to destroy this particular book is insane, right? Let me get into that real quick, and then we can talk about maybe how that could relate to the quest. To destroy the book, 6 different demon lords must each tear out a 6 of the book's pages. If this occurs, the pages reappear after 24 hours. Before all those hours pass, anyone who opens the book's remaining binding is transported to a nascent layer of the abyss that lies hidden within the book. At the heart of this deadly semi-sentient domain lies a long-lost artifact, Fraz Urulu's staff, which is another demon lord. And I'm probably butchering the heck out of that name. If the staff is dragged from the pocket plane, the tome is reduced to a mundane and quite out-of-date copy of Tome of Zix. The work has served as a foundation for the Demonomicon. Once the staff emerges, the demon lord Fazlu instantly knows, right? So like you could go through the steps to make that happen, summon the staff out, and like there's a whole adventure inside this demi-plane of the abyss anyway, right? To get it. And then you get out of the book, you escape the book, you have the staff, It's no longer the Demonomicon, but now the big boss is revealed, and it's going to be this demon lord, and the player, right, possessed by this demon. It's hoping to like gain glory and honor and power by destroying the book. It's going to make the demon lords happy. He's going to give the staff back, or maybe keep the staff for themselves. I don't know. You could go in different ways with this, but now it's like you're going to have this drag out fight with this demon lord plus the player character. I mean, obviously this is a campaign where you've gone all the way to like 20 level or whatever, but I think this would be like a badass capstone to a campaign.
Once you got through all of it, the surviving players, because there's definitely going to be character death in a story like this. I think that's going to be something that would be remembered for countless time. If you haven't done something like this, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But it is an absolutely fabulous thing to have happen. But anytime you're dealing with artifacts, it is one of those things that it becomes a focus. It becomes a thing that winds up stealing the show. So if you're going to use artifacts, be prepared for it to be like the major centerpiece of the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, think of Lord of the Rings, right? Like the One Ring is the artifact. It took a whole adventure just to get the One Ring that wasn't about it, only to set up the trilogy, right? so that's how you want to kind of think of it, right? We've also done videos on another evil book, the most evil magic item in D&D, Book of Vile Darkness. Does this one compete? I don't know. You tell us.
If you'd like to become a patron and help support us and keep doing what we do, you can always check us out over on Patreon.
As a thank you, you'll receive monthly 5e content for players and DMs alike, a chance to game with us, and more.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.